vision and we have some more to spare. Yeah, and we live like this, yeah, every day. We do it in love and we don't delay. Love like this, we must relay. It's in your heart and soul.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning. It is Thursday, 16th of July, 2020, and my name is Tasha Grace Boris, Progressive Democratic Patriots candidate for Tobago West. My last day of being a prospective candidate because tomorrow is nomination day. And nomination day is the day that my candidacy will be confirmed. And I can say to you for certain that I would be one of the candidates who will be contesting the general election come August 10th, 2020. It is a very cool Thursday morning in Tobago. Good morning to all of you who have joined me. Your radios are on in your homes, your offices, your cars. You are online on YouTube. You are online on my live. Thank you so very much for waking up early just to be with me. Thank you so much for all the love that I've been receiving over the last couple of days since I started. Those of you who sent me messages online on my live, those of you who sent me inbox messages, those who text, those who call, thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to interact with you. Thank you for the opportunity to just present myself to you and show you who I am and show you my heart and show you my vision for Tobago, show you how much I love my island. Thank you for joining me this morning. It is Transformation Tuesdays, and if you notice my voice, I'm a little bit more, what's the word? Hoarse, yes. I'm a little bit more, say it today, more. The fire is just some nice embers, you know, but if the flame strikes up, that's okay later on in the broadcast, because, you know, the campaign trail is very, very brutal. I've lost a lot of sleep that I cannot get back. And my voice has been taking a beating over the last few days, but I don't want to miss my interactions with you on a morning. I have been thankful for the opportunity to just be able to have a platform, to just meet with people, and to not just talk to you and talk with you and not just chat with you, but at the same time, we can have the conversations that need to be had, because I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. I think that our country is in a place right now where we need to have persons who aspire to high office who can be honest with our population and honest about where we are at and honest about what we need to do to get to where we are going. I want to say good morning to everyone. I mean, this has been a year and a half. 2020 has thrown up a number of things that persons did not plan for. It has proved to ourselves how resilient we are and how innovative we can be when it comes to facing disasters and when it comes to facing the unexpected. Today's Transformation Tuesdays. So I like to talk about transformations on this particular day because this is the opportunity for us to have the conversations about a post-COVID Tobago. This is our opportunity to have the conversations about what are the things that Tobago requires to take its development forward. I want to focus specifically on airports this morning, because the airport issue is something that is pretty much on the front burner in Tobago at this time. We have the peace movement who has been leading the charge with respect to ensuring that the residents who have not yet signed off on having their lands purchased by the state, that they get what is a fair package allocated to them before they move. The thing about land in Tobago is that land is a spiritual thing. Land is a thing that is, people have particular views about land. We have ancestral lands. We have lands that are passed on from generation to generation. And, my father was remarking to me that an old yard when you see a calabash tree. That is an indication that there are several generations of navel strings buried in that yard. And when you're talking about moving people from a place where they have set their roots so deep and just picking them up and put them anywhere, you can't do that. Because when we're talking about treating our people with respect, and we're talking about treating our people with dignity, and when we're talking about treating our people in the way that they deserve, you have to look at process. And some people, it might be just as simple as, you want my land? Okay, give me X amount of money for it and I'm gone. And they take their check and they don't look back. And I'm not condemning those people. They have their reasons for doing that. But in the same breath, do not condemn the people who want to ensure that when they leave that spot that they have buried their navel string, when they leave that spot that belongs to their ancestors, when they leave that spot to go and reside elsewhere, that they are satisfied that they can move from the place that they spent their lives building and straight into another place where they feel at home, where they feel comfortable. How could you say to people, look, I want to purchase your property. I'm going to place a value on it, and I hope that you accept the value that I've placed on your property. I'm going to say to you, hear what? I'm going to make lands available to you, but I need your property today. And I'm giving you just money or land and money in return. Where are these people going to live in the meantime until they are able to rebuild their homes? There is going to be a period of time between when they move out of where they have been their entire lives or their entire adult lives, living in comfort, living in peace, not owing anybody, not paying any rent. And you want to move these people into a temporary rental situation until their new homes are constructed. I'm saying that you need to ensure that the process that you employ is a process that is generous and favorable to the people who will be affected. These residents do not want to stop Tobago progress. These residents do not want to keep Tobago stagnated. These residents don't want to be difficult for being difficult's sake. All they are doing, all they are saying to the powers that be is, take stock of the fact that, yes, money can purchase our property. Yes, you are giving us the opportunity to own lands in another area, but you're talking about setting down new roots. That takes a process. In addition to that, there's the psychological impacts of having to move, having to see your house destroyed, having to see your blood, sweat, and tears bulldozed for development. Don't take it for granted that people are not traumatized by the thought of that. Knowing that you put down every brick that you put down, knowing that you spent sleepless nights digging your foundation, knowing that by the light of a bamboo bulife, that is how you built your house, long hours in the dark. And the psychological impacts of watching that being destroyed, something that you took years to build, being destroyed in a matter of moments, that also has psychological impacts. Have they offered counseling to these people? Have they offered financial counseling to these people? Because they're going to get a substantial sum of money all at once. And we must ensure that they are prepared to be able to utilize that money in the best way to make sure that their lives can continue in a comfortable fashion. These people need support. They don't need condemnation. They need support. Right? You're asking people to give away their generational wealth. And that paycheck that you give them today, we're talking about market rates. In 2020, yes, you may buy one of those properties for what? $1 million? But 20 years from now, that same property might have been worth $5 million if those people did not have to move. All of these things that you have to take into consideration. All they are looking for is a fair negotiation. And I don't think that is too much to ask. In addition to that, the people of Tobago are asking for accountability. What kind of airport is going to be built on that site? What can Tobagonians look forward to? What can we expect? Are we going to get value for money? This is a $1.2 billion investment. Can you show us the cost-benefit analysis? Can you show us where this is going to cost $1.2 billion, but in 5 years, this airport is going to be making $500 million a year, $1 billion for year. It has the potential to make that kind of revenue and bring that kind of revenue to the island. These are the kind of conversations we should have with people, because for far too long, we have had people in government who have decided that they are going to have projects, and they're saying to the people, these projects are for you. But the people are not uneducated. The people read. The people don't just go on the internet for Facebook. They actually Google, they actually research, they actually read, and they actually see what is going on in other places in the world. No longer should politicians, because it's politicians that do these things, no longer should politicians come to people and say, hey, we're going to drop an airport there, or we're going to drop a housing development there, or we're going to drop a smelter plant over there, we're going to drop a desalination plant in that area. Where's the cost-benefit analysis? We need to see the costs, and we need to see the benefits. We need to see the pros, and we need to see the cons. And you don't need to have the highest level of tertiary education to simply understand the pros of this project are A, B, C, D, E. The cons of this project are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what we call participatory democracy. Allowing the people to understand, to understand and participate in the democratic process. And part of democracy is accountability when it comes to public projects. You are saying to us that you want to improve an existing airport terminal, and you want to build a new airport terminal. Okay, if you're saying that to us, tell us what is the vision? What is the plan? Is this airport terminal going to be on 20 acres of land? That is what you're hoping to have. It's going to be a green airport. It's going to employ the latest technology with respect to passenger handling. It's going to serve as a hangar for international airlines to come, and they're going to be paying rents to us because they're going to have international flights that are operating directly out of Tobago. We have already been in conversations with international airlines to start direct services, and that is why we need this new airport terminal, because they have registered an interest in product Tobago, in brand Tobago, and they see this place as a hub for the Southern Caribbean, because we are basically a gateway between the Caribbean and Latin America. This is the vision. I've been doing some research on airports, the most innovative airports in the world. And some of the most innovative airports in the world have forests. Some of the most innovative airports in the world have solar panel fields. Some of the most innovative airports in the world have agricultural sections where they grow their own produce to service or to supply to the restaurants in the airports. What are we doing? I hope the intention is not to just put up another white elephant. I hope the intention is not to just put up a cowshed. I hope the intention is to design an airport terminal that fits within the aesthetic of brand Tobago. I want to see value for money. I want to see that at the end of the day, when this airport is built, that it can be utilized to its maximum capacity. That is what Tobagonians want to see. We are tired of waste projects. We are tired of white elephants. We are tired of spending money. We are tired of cost overruns on projects that do not last longer than the Red House fire. That is what we are tired of. We have to start to cultivate an attitude of accountability at all levels in our spaces. An airport is not a singular undertaking. It is not a parlor that you are building. It is not a shed. It is not a bus shed. It is not any of these things. You're talking about displacing residents from one place to another to get the land space that is necessary to build. You have not shown us your plans. You have not said to us, this is what we are hoping to achieve. You have already signed contracts. And it's my understanding it's a design-build contract. So the people who are building this airport are responsible for design. And if that is true, and I stand to be corrected by anybody, if that is true, by now, we should have been able to see what those designs look like. I am seeing something that looks like temporary housing going up in the immediate vicinity of the current airport. So which means that it appears like if the project is going full steam ahead, and if that is true, then it's better to measure twice and cut once. That's all I'm saying. Because Tobagonians do not want to be left with another white elephant. You have to explain to us, why do you need so much land? Is it that you expect to build accommodation next to this airport like a hotel? Talk to us. This is a project for the people of Tobago. Have you consulted with the businessmen in the Crown Point community in particular and in the wider Tobago community as to how they can now become tenants in that new airport? That I should be given the assurance as a Tobagonian that my fellow Tobagonians in business can be given first preference to operate booths and shops and restaurants in that airport. I need to see value for my taxpayers' money. It's not all your money, it's my money. I pay taxes. It is our money. We pay taxes. The people of Tobago, and by extension the people of Trinidad and Tobago, because it's the taxpayers of Trinidad and Tobago who need to be assured that this project is above board, who need to be assured that this project is going to give value for money, who need to be assured that this project is being done with the best interest of the people of Tobago and the people of Trinidad and Tobago. That is all we want. Today's Transformation Thursdays. Airports are a massive undertaking. They are. I have traveled to quite a few places. I have been to St. Lucia, which I think last year had about 1 million+ visitors. And the airport that I went into in St. Lucia is actually probably smaller than the current airport that we have. And yet they are able to welcome so many visitors to their shores. Obviously, it's not about an airport, is it? So if it is that our massive airport that is going to be built is going to be used as a product in and of itself, because when I was reading about innovative airports, there's an airport in Singapore. The most innovative airport in the world in 2015 is in Singapore. And that airport is a tourist attraction in and of itself because of what that airport contains. So people fly to Singapore just to visit that airport. I'm saying that I'm not sure if Tobago can afford to create an airport as a tourist attraction in and of itself. But certainly whatever is built should be something that is not only aesthetically pleasing, but it should fit into our wider tourism product. But certainly not at the expense of just grabbing lands from residents just to say that you have these lands. And as of yet, we have no plans as to how these lands are intended to be used. Show us the plan. And not only that, who decides that that is the plan that goes forward? Who is to decide that that is the best plan? The experts? Who are the experts? Tobago has qualified persons at all levels. Let Tobago decide who is its vetting team. Tobago should be able to vet any plan that for development that comes on its doorstep. The people of Tobago demand accountability. Explain to us, what is it that you want? That the footprint of the airport terminal is going to be on 20 acres of land, that we're going to extend the runway on a further 5 acres, that we want to have a duty-free area, that encompasses another 10 acres of property with 150 stores and 20 restaurants. Tell us, because those are layman terms. There's nothing technical about what I just said. Nothing that the average person cannot understand. Because somebody is going to design plans, and when those plans are designed, somebody is going to explain to them, well, look, we want the airport big so, and we want some shops over there, and we want a big hangar there, and we want an extended runway there. Somebody would explain to you in layman terms, and you will have to translate that into technical language, and you'll have to design something. What is the stage that those designs are at? You need to talk to us, because it's not just the residents of Crown Point who are concerned. It's not just the persons who are part of the peace movement who have serious issues. It's the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We have seen successive governments. Remember the bubble that took place with the Piarco airport? Corruption seems to be in our blood. And if that is the case, come now, man, in 2020, should we be having this conversation again? We shouldn't. We are demanding accountability on behalf of our people. Show us your plans. Tell us the vision you have for us, but you have to ask us if that is the vision we want for ourselves. And I heard in the past that there were options that were put forward for that airport development in the days of Ho Choi Charles, and that a particular option was chosen. And that option would not have interfered with the people who are there now. I'm asking myself if that option is no longer on the table. I'm asking myself if it is that we can build what we need, what we require, what would be sufficient for future without moving those residents. Is it necessary to move those residents? That is the question I'm asking, and I'm asking for understanding. I'm not bashing anybody here, because I want to understand. I want to understand. Because at the end of the day, it is the hope that the persons who have been elected to high office make the best decisions for all people, not some. A conversation about an airport should not be a private conversation between you and financiers and other people who will benefit from that airport on that side of the equation. Where is the feelings of the residents? Where is the feelings of the Tobago population? Where are the feelings of the Trinidad and Tobago population? This is taxpayers' money. This is taxpayers' money that is being spent on a major undertaking. Where is the true consultation? Where is the true consultation? Show us the cost-benefit analysis. Show us what benefits would be brought to the people of Tobago as a result of that airport being built. Because now is still COVID time. International travel cannot happen. Our borders are still closed. And the experts predict that it will take some time, at least 3 years, for international travel to pick up again. Tobago already had serious issues with respect to international visitors coming into the island. We weren't seeing the numbers. So if it is the numbers weren't coming in before COVID, now it's COVID time. The numbers not coming at all. Post-COVID, you're trying to justify to me spending $1.2 billion of taxpayers' money. Are you telling me that as soon as you have finished constructing this airport, that all of a sudden Tobago would see a 1,000% uptick in international arrivals? If that is what you're telling me, and you have expert advice to back it up, you have the people who did the research, they have the concrete figures to back it up. If that is what you are telling me, then say that. Tell the people of Tobago that, because at the end of the day, we should be the ones to make that decision, shouldn't we? Because Tobagonians on the street, average Tobagonians, If they had $1.2 billion at Tobago's disposal, do you think the airport would be the first thing that they invest that money in? Do you think that that would be the first thing that they spend money behind? Tell me in the comments, guys. If you had $1.2 billion to do something in Tobago right now, or to do several things in Tobago right now, tell me if it is the airport would be one of the first things on your radar. Because I can see places where $1.2 billion could do plenty for this island in the immediate, short, medium, and long term. I see it. Let's talk about healthcare. $1.2 billion could properly well fix our healthcare system. And that is the truth. $1.2 billion could introduce innovative technologies across our school system in Tobago. $1.2 billion could pave every road in Tobago. I have walked on some roads in the last couple days. Deplorable. Absolutely deplorable. Our road infrastructure is deplorable in places. Especially some residential areas. I have to ask myself if overnight trucks passing right through on these roads, because the state of these roads defy explanation. I don't get it. $1.2 billion can fix our road infrastructure. What else can $1.2 billion do? Tell me in the comments. This is Transformation Thursdays. My name is Tasha Grace Boris, PDP candidate for Tobago West. We're talking transformations. We're focusing right now on the airport project and anything associated with that. Because we're talking about transformation, transforming Tobago, transformation of the Tobago space. $1.2 billion, as my friend has said, can jumpstart our agricultural sector, food security in a real way. $1.2 billion can give us an international port, a cruise ship terminal, a waterfront project in Scarborough, similar to St. Martin, transform the entire of Scarborough into a proper tourist hub. $1.2 billion could bring water to all our residents and proper electricity, because we still having outages. We still having issues with electricity in places. It's the most amount of outages I have seen since that new plant came on stream. When it was just the plant in Scarborough, electricity, that service was far more reliable. And up to now, no one has explained to us why is it that we are experiencing so many outages in Tobago, and for the periods of time that we are experiencing these outages. $1.2 billion could transform our tourism products, our attractions, our forts, our beaches. Every single bathing beach in Tobago could be equipped with a lifeguard tower and facilities for people to change, use bathrooms, huts, areas for people to buy food and buy craft. Every beach in Tobago can become an experience within itself. We can put facilities close to our waterfalls, our hiking trails. We can even probably finally get the zip line that nobody's speaking about. Money that was spent. They said there's zip line in Tobago. Now it's July. Where is zip line there? $1.2 billion could transform housing. Housing. Young people, young professionals, young families are crying out for the chance to be able to own a little piece of paradise, their little piece of paradise. $1.2 billion could do wonders for housing development on the island. And I spoke the other day about the Susulands concept. Right? $1.2 billion can do so much. It can create an agro-processing sector, or small manufacturing sector. $1.2 billion could introduce innovation and technologies across our public service. Tobago could be the place that people want to come and conduct business. Because most of these first world countries that are at the forefront have some of the most efficient public services that you can register for a business and within 24 hours you can get that registration complete, that you can apply for citizenship and within a week you can get your documents, that you can apply for a passport and within 3 business days you can receive your document by mail. So you don't have to call our office and see if it's finished. It's coming to you by registered mail. $1.2 billion could transform Tobago into the place that everybody wants to come and do business. We can set up a financial services sector similar to the British Virgin Islands and the US Virgin Islands and the Cayman Islands and these places that have their financial services industry in that part of the Caribbean. We could be the financial services center of the Southern Caribbean. $1.2 billion can do so much. Is the airport really that critical? I'm asking because I want to know. And the reason I'm asking is because others have the same question. What is the rush to build this airport now? What is the rush? It is the same way how they wanted to shove sandals down our throat. Imagine if we had started the sandals project. I want all of you to just close all your eyes and imagine for 1 second that we had paid that money because it was taxpayers' money. It wasn't Butch Stewart coming to invest his money into our sandals. That project was going to be funded by the taxpayers of Trinidad and Tobago. I want to remind you guys that that was a deal that was struck and signed off by our elected politicians, with no accountability to the people and no oversight. And when the people ask questions, all your costs we. Yes, there was a strong group of people who wanted the project. All they don't want nothing good over here. It's progress, it's development, but at what cost? Taxpayers' money was going to be spent for a project that Tobagonians had no oversight for. An investment was being made on our behalf without our permission. And imagine if they had started that project, if they had raised and bulldozed our lands. COVID come and happen. The country don't have no money according to them. So what would have happened? They would have taken those lands, started destroying the acres of forests and bush and trees to build the foundation for that plant, and it would have stayed right there at foundation stage. We would have spent however much millions of dollars to do that with no return on investment, because now international tourism basically no longer exists. That sandals plants across the Caribbean closed their doors during COVID time. And I'm not even certain how many of them are able to reopen post-COVID. We would have been left with the foundation for a hotel that would have never opened. We would have been stuck with that bill. Taxpayers now, my children who would soon be taxpayers when they become adults, their children and their children would have been paying for that. Who would have come to finish that? Who would have bought that? It's the same problem we're having with our current plants that have been built and operated by government. Magdalena can't even get a full house. But you want to drop a 1,000-room plant on the southwest of Tobago, and people in southwest Tobago can't even get water in their taps. We can't even take care of our own people. But you want to open your house to take care of others. Come now, man, that is not the way. That is not the way. We need to fix home first. I would always advocate that when my people live in good, we could do whatever else we want to let people come in the house. But you have to make sure that when you're inviting visitors in your house, that your house clean. No, sir. That you could provide for them when they come. That you can welcome them into a comforting and comfortable environment. And if the people who live here can't live good, why are we trying to force people from outside to live good here? We have to fix with people first. We have to fix our people first. For those of you who want to call in, the number is 717-9591. That number again is 717-9591. The text line is 734-6355. Yes and no. I've seen somebody calling. Call again. Oh, it's a WhatsApp video call. Not sure if I could take that. Let's see if that could work. Ma'am, you'll have to call on the regular line, please. I'm not certain if I could take video calls at this time. But yes, continuing the conversation. There are people in Crown Point who during Crown Point, Canaan and environs, that during the dry season especially, they suffer for water. They suffer for water. But we want to put a 1,000-room hotel literally next door. So what is going to happen? They're going to get water and nobody else going to get water? Let me fix with people first. Hello, good morning. Hello? Yeah. We're having a little bit of trouble with the phone lines. Well, it's not the lines, actually. I think it's just an equipment issue. So I'm trying the fix. Let's see if the fix works. So who was trying to call me just now? Call again, please. But what I'm saying is this. Let us see if this works this time.
Hello?
Yes, hello, good morning.
You hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, because I was hearing you all the time, but I don't know what's wrong with on that side, on your side. But I'm just saying congratulations on the person who you are and for choosing the right party to do what you're doing. Now, there are some young people who saying that they like you very, very much and what you have been saying and what you're promoting to represent Tobago, but saying that you're on the wrong party. I wanted to deal with some of those kind of questions because I would believe our biggest enemy in Tobago, who has divided us in Tobago, is the TNM. Yeah? And you could not have speak very clearly and openly as you are if you were on that side. So you could deal with some of those kind of concerns, please?
No problem, caller. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for calling in. Well, I don't want to segue too much into that because I really want to focus on transformation today. But let me just take a few minutes to answer the caller and to answer anybody who is listening and questioning why I chose this particular vehicle, right? Politics is anybody's personal choice. I don't get into the politics of somebody's personal choice because it come like buying a car. Some people like or can afford a Tida or a B14 or something like that, and some people would want to buy an SUV or a Range Rover, some kind of BMW, something like that. So choice is up to anybody. I don't believe in the idea of a wrong party. I believe in the idea of the thing that is best for me. I explained this before, but I think I will go to Lens to explain it today. I didn't decide to get involved in politics. I was always somewhere around voicing my opinion from the time I had a voice. So let's get that clear. My father and my grandfather are responsible for the voice that I have now. And I was exposed to teachers who were able to bring out that voice in me further. So I've always been very vocal about issues. And there are a number of people who never chose a political party, but instead remain just very vocal on issues. When it came to me choosing a particular vehicle, I looked at what was available in the atmosphere. And I looked at the two vehicles. I scrutinized them. One vehicle has the benefit of stability. They've been around for a number of years. They have structure. On the outside, they look stable. I looked at another vehicle. They have a younger, they're not as old as the other vehicle, right? But they have robust components that make up that vehicle. They have parts that I feel I can trust. And when I looked at the two vehicles, I chose to take my chances with the vehicle that looks like it has robust components that I can trust. Because sometimes old thing not good. That is the bottom line. And over the last few months especially, it looking like old thing not good. It's only when you drive the vehicle, when you get in and you sit down in the seat and you feel the steering and you adjust it to see if it fits, you're going to know if it's good for you. I have sat in this vehicle. I adjusted the steering to my height. I checked my mirrors. I checked the tires. I checked the oil. I checked the gas. This vehicle good for me. Some of you all like older vehicles. For whatever reason, vintage quality, that is your choice. I don't have an issue with your choice. Everybody has the option to choose. But I prefer my new vehicle with parts that I think I could trust. Parts that appear robust. Right? Because what I see on the other side, I have serious questions as to their robustness. I have serious questions as to whether or not they are parts that I can trust. I'm using an analogy here. I have serious questions as to the integrity of that vehicle. I do. So I'd rather take the vehicle that I think I could trust. I think I could trust this vehicle. I feel comfortable in this vehicle. When I sit down in the seat in this vehicle, it fit me. It fit my frame. I'm happy for any young person who wants to get involved in politics because it's not easy. It's not easy. I am happy for any good person who sees themselves as an asset and wants to get involved. And I would never tell anybody what vehicle to choose. I would never tell anybody that they have chosen the wrong vehicle. Maybe that vehicle is good for you. That is your choice. But you see this vehicle that I am in, that I'm sitting in right now, this vehicle good for me. This vehicle fits me very fine. This vehicle suits my personality because, as the caller said, if I had chosen the other vehicle, I would have been in the back seat. Not the driver's seat, the back seat. And I would have had to silently go wherever the vehicle took me. At least in this vehicle that I'm sitting in, I have some measure of control. I get to help determine where the destination of that vehicle is. I help to get to determine where that vehicle takes me. That other vehicle, they already have too many drivers over there. Everybody wants to be a driver of that vehicle. And when you have a vehicle with too many drivers, you know what happens? The vehicle crashes. So I'd rather take my time in this vehicle that I'm in now. It might be a little newer, might be a little slower because we're not sure about the roads, because we're taking the time. We're new in the dance. But I know that this vehicle is robust. I know that this vehicle have parts that I could depend on. I know this vehicle for certain would take me only where I want to go. I'm not so sure about the vehicle on the other side. So as a result, I have chosen this particular vehicle. And I stand by my choice. And that's all. Nothing else. So we're going back to talking about transformation. This is Transformation Thursdays. We were speaking about what $1.2 billion in capital investment in development can do for Tobago. We started the conversation about the airport issue. An airport being a major infrastructural development project that is coming to our island. And it seems like if it has been signed off by our head politicians in charge, the people of Tobago demand oversight. The people of Tobago demand accountability. The people of Tobago demand to know what are the plans. You say you are building this thing for us. You say that you are building this thing for the benefit of the island. Tell us. Cost-benefit analysis. Show us the figures. Show us that after you spend $1.2 billion, that we are going to make $1 billion every year coming from this airport. That airport could be part of our revenue streams, because one of the things that we don't have currently in Tobago is multiple revenue streams. We want our financial independence. Tobagonians are a proud, strong people. We don't want to feel like if we're a burden to anybody or any government or any set of persons in this country. We want to be man and woman in our own house, and that comes with being able to take care of ourselves. What can $1.2 billion do for this island? It pains me to hear that people don't have access to indoor plumbing and running water. It pains me to hear that people are still driving on terrible roads, mashing up their vehicles. Who paying for that? Is the government paying to fix your vehicle? But yet you have a system that penalizes me. Is there a system where I as a taxpayer could penalize the government if my road is not good? Can I penalize WASA for digging up my road and not fixing it back? Where is the redress for the average citizen who now has to bear the brunt of what governments do and don't do? Where is our redress? Where is the oversight? Where is the accountability? $1.2 billion is not a small sum of money. What can $1.2 billion do for our island? I have this vision. I used to work at the Port Authority. And it was actually one of the most rewarding jobs I've had in my entire life. Very, very stressful, mind you, but very, very rewarding for me. Because it was there that I truly understood the thing that hit at the heart of Tobagonians. Our port, any port in any space, is one of your most critical economic drivers. And I would watch farmers, well, they call them traffickers now, because and the history of that came out of the fact that a particular prime minister that we had, there was a situation that developed after the passage of Flora. And it was said that it was easier to bring food from Trinidad to feed Tobago people instead of revitalizing our agricultural sector. So that monies that may have been received as aid for Tobago did not go into rebuilding Tobago. So we no longer have farmers. We do have some farmers, but we have traffickers as well, which is people who purchase goods in Trinidad and they come up to sell. We need more farmers. We need more farms. We need more access to farm lands. Right? So these traffickers, I would see them up and down on the boat, and then I would see other persons who have retail shops selling any number of items also up and down in the boat, because goods are coming into Trinidad. They have to pay their taxes there, and then they have to bring the goods over to Tobago, put them in their shops, and there's that consequent markup. And I saw the potential for Tobago to have an international port, because a lot of these ships, they pass Tobago on their way to Trinidad. Why can't those goods be landed here? Why can't they come directly into the island? Right now, Barbados is the hub for Carnival cruise lines in the Southern Caribbean. Barbados. There are a number of other cruise lines right now because they're trying to recover that industry. Why can't Tobago be a hub for the Southern Caribbean? Tobago has a natural deep water harbor. $1.2 billion could revitalize our ports, our port facilities. We can get our CARICOM port, our cargo port. We can have a dedicated cruise ship terminal that is welcoming hundreds of thousands of visitors yearly. We can have that. I visited St. Kitts last year. I went on a cruise, actually. I went to St. Kitts, and on the day that we docked, there was another massive cruise ship in the harbor, and their cruise ship port currently, sometimes they have up to 4 vessels docked, 4 large cruise ships, and we're talking about upwards of 8,000 plus persons coming off into the island in any given day. And I have a friend who works at the port facility there. And they're building another port because the issue they have is similar to us. When their cruise ships come, their cargo ships cannot dock. So they're building a dedicated cargo facility. So that because they give priority to the cruise ships. It's the same thing that happens here. We give priority to the cruise ships over food, over goods for our people. And that should not be. That if we are looking at developing our island, there should be no discussion as to what is more important. Let's do the thing right. $1.2 billion could give us a dedicated cargo facility and a dedicated cruise ship facility so that when cruise ships come, they do not interfere with our cargo operations. That we can still receive goods and we can still export goods. That is what we talk about, economic drivers. That is when we talk about progress. These are the kinds of conversations that we need to start to have. What is your vision? When I walk along, and again, working on the port was an interesting experience for me. I could remember specifically one particular cruise ship call. I'm standing outside of the port, and 2 elderly tourists came off. And they looked at me, they walked up to me, and they said, good morning, could you show us where the town is? And I stood there for all of 5 seconds, trying to figure out whether or not I should break their hearts and tell them we're actually standing in it. Because I think they expected more. They saw all these pictures of Tobago, and really the pictures that they saw would have been of the Pigeon Point jetty and these kinds of things. So I think they had that expectation that when they came into port, that all of these things were literally right there, that they could walk off the boat and meet that picturesque Tobago that they see. Where is our duty-free shopping in Scarborough? I could remember when the PP government was in power. They said that they were going to make Scarborough a duty-free shopping area. It is 2020. Not a word after that. Nothing doing, nothing happening. I have visited a number of territories and I can get access to duty-free shopping. St. Lucia, St. Kitts, US Virgin Islands, British Virgin Islands, Jamaica. Barbados, Grenada. I've been to Panama. I've been to Brazil. Duty-free shopping is available. We want to invite people into Tobago, but we don't have duty-free shopping for them to enjoy. We don't have a dedicated duty-free shopping area for them to go and get the best of the products that we have to offer. Or even if it's not duty-free shopping, where is that area? Where is that hub where we have all our local artists, our art, our craft, our music, the steel pan, our sweets? I would see our tourists come off the boats, and I'm just throwing out an idea there. They will never buy our sweets because they don't know what it is. They will not eat anything that they're not sure of because they have allergies and all of these. They need to know how things are prepared because some of them have allergies, things that could kill them. So if they don't know what they're eating, they could die. I'm saying those of you who are producing sweets, you're packaging. Not just a label with your name, but your ingredient list, how it's prepared so that people could know, well, okay, I use this type of oil. You have this allergy to peanuts. You have this allergy to this thing. People need to know, because if you want international persons to come and buy, there are standards that we need to have. There are standards because we are looking at export industry. That our sweets, the bene ball and the nut cake and the lime ball and the sugar cake and the tulum, the red mango and the fudge. We have a huge market in the diaspora. We have a huge market in Trinidad. When Trinidadians come off the boat, the first place they go is buy that little, those huts on the port to buy red mango and bene ball and all of these things. And I'm saying that we can turn that into a viable industry, a viable cottage industry. For those of you who produce sweets, prepare some samples. Ask permission to just give out some free samples on the port. When the tourists come, let them take a taste of our fudge. But you must be able to tell them, well, okay, this thing has nuts. This thing is ginger and honey. This thing is whatever it is, but you must be able to explain, because again, they have to be very careful about the things that they eat. That if we are using our fruits, the red mango, the pomsite, the plum, to make our chows and to make our preserves and these things, you must be able to explain to people the process of how it's prepared. They'll ask these questions. You can't say you don't know. All of this is part of Brand Tobago. I could close my eyes and envision a transformed Milford Road waterfront. I went to South Beach in Miami, and I could literally have pitched a tent right there and stayed for my entire trip to Miami. It was Friday afternoon, and I went to a bar called Wet Willie's for a Bob Marley, which is a drink that has the colors yellow, green, and red. Right? And I sat looking at the activity on South Beach, and they were just bars after bars after bars. Happy hour, so you were getting drinks for $5. Huge glasses of beer and cocktails. Hotels. Cars up and down the strip. People walking. Music playing. Whether it be a man dancing to music on a boombox, or people playing pan by the side of the road. Everything, all the activity was centered there. It was a hub of activity. And the beach, well, the beach is a huge beach. The beach is there for those who want to be on the beach, bathe, lime, do whatever. And I could close my eyes and I could remember when we had the regatta in town. Not Great Race, but the regatta that they used to have with the smaller boats. And they would shut down the Milford Road from vehicular traffic and make it a pedestrian roadway. And people would come with their cars and their coolers beforehand, obviously, and get their vantage point on the waterfront to watch the activities, and people liming in pockets and stuff. And the whole strip was vibrant. From about just after the port, where the port mall starts, right down to Coast Guard. They closed it out to vehicular traffic. And in my mind, I can close my eyes and see what a transformed Milford Road waterfront could look like. A place that Tobagonians could lime on a Friday, lime on a Saturday, lime on a Sunday, lime at any night in the week. That it is family and kid friendly. That you have activities for all ages. Yes, you have your bars. Yes, you have your restaurants. Yes, you have your places for people to sit and eat and chat. Yes, you have your places where people could take pictures. You drop a I love Tobago sign. Love Tobago. You love Tobago so much, but there's nothing else drawing people in that immediate area. Nothing to keep them there. Nothing to encourage them to go there, take their pictures and stay around and spend money there. How could you justify that investment if it does nothing except give you very nice pictures? What has that sign done for the businesses in the immediate vicinity of that sign? Have they seen an influx of customers? Have they seen an influx of persons wanting to access the goods and services that they offer? Entire transformation can take place on that waterfront. I think Tobago is the only place that I have, because I live here, that we don't take advantage of our natural beauty. That every possible beach you could bathe on in Barbados has been made a bathing beach, even if it's on the Atlantic side. They will put their breakwater, make sure that a lifeguard is there, and you can bathe. And you could take 1,000,000 pictures. We have some of the most beautiful beaches in Tobago, inaccessible. You can't get there. Inaccessible to persons who are differently abled. No facilities, no bathrooms, no places to wash sand off your feet, nothing. No place to relax. So if you don't have an umbrella and bring your own beach chair or nothing like that, hot sun burn you up. The beach is there. But we have done nothing to develop our natural resources. We have done nothing to promote our natural beauty. Pigeon Point is not the only beach in Tobago. Store Bay is not the only beach in Tobago. And they are not even the best beaches in Tobago. They are not. It pains me to drive in Scarborough and see all those tangles of overhead lines. That in 2020, we are not talking about cables underground. It pains me to know that we don't have Wi-Fi in the entire of our capital. Free Wi-Fi to our visitors. And that can be done simply. Think about $1.2 billion. $1.2 billion can give Scarborough such a facelift. $1.2 billion can make us competitive when it comes to cruise shipping. Scarborough could be one of the most popular ports in the Caribbean for cruise ships to dock. $1.2 billion could give us our marina. $1.2 billion could give us our Plymouth jetty and revitalize the economy in Plymouth. The people of Plymouth want opportunities. They don't want morning walk. They want opportunities. A jetty in Plymouth will transform Plymouth. Buku is probably the best beach in Tobago. I agree with you, Zachary. Buku is probably the most beautiful beach in Tobago. No facilities. No bathroom facilities. No changing facilities. Buku waterfront is prime real estate, and we sleep in. We sleep in. $1.2 billion. But they have prioritized an airport over Tobago's wider development. Well, if that is a sound economic decision, tell us why. Come to the people and tell us why. Explain to us why this, in your mind, is a critical investment that is required at this time versus everything else that I just mentioned? Tell us, because I want to know. I am a taxpayer and I need to know. For those of you who want to call in, the number is 717-9591. That number again is 717-9591. We're talking transformation, education, our education system. I want to live in a Tobago where we have our academies set up, our sporting academies for our qualified and talented sportsmen and women. I want to see our creative arts academies for our musicians and our singers and our storytellers. I want to see our technical vocational academies for those who are technologically inclined, those who want to do engineering or robotics or AI or computer animation, those who want to produce movies and do graphics and editing, write songs and do production. I want to see our academies. I want to see our schools use technology at the forefront of learning. I want to see a Tobago where the next child that I have, God spare life, no longer needs a book bag and books, that everything is on a tablet or a laptop. We'll take this call. Hello, good morning.
Kashia, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
You are on the ball, girl. You're a thinking woman. Your mind is in the right place. As a Tobagonian who is young, you are prepared for the future. And that's what we lack right now with the politicians or those representatives who are in Tobago space. They are bankrupt, they be rift of ideas. You raised an issue about that Milford Road. And I could see something further than that. It should go right down into Lambo. And you call it the Milford Strip. But what is happening is our engineers don't seem to understand what they're doing. The Robinson Crusoe Hotel, from where Francis is going right down to Scarborough Sec, and the licensing office, former licensing office that land is going, it's because the rock formation is a kind of solidified clay. And with sea level rise, the sea is undermining pockets of the clay and getting inland and undermining the roadway. We have to seal the road off like a port. That's what we gotta get the Dutch people who know about marine and infrastructure to assist us and advise us on how to build that thing. We're spending money foolishly doing nothing. We don't have much land, but we could preserve what we have. Could you imagine what that place could be if we had thinking people? Right down into Lambo, past that bridge that they just built, right down into Lambo. And then when you look at places like Charlottesville, that Charlottesville beachfront, right down there, you have a strip where there's no vehicles, but it's just walking and well designed. We have the same thing for Roxborough. We're doing the same old, and people are going to go back and vote them into office. I am disappointed, but you are on the right track, my darling. You're doing the right thing. You're thinking. And you spoke about the ancestral lands down in Canaan, Bonacourt. I cannot understand why in God's face this government has decided to interfere with those people after all these years, over 75 years of harassing them. The only administration that dealt with this thing properly was the one under Hochul Charles. It was decided that that airport could be upgraded higher up the road and leave the people where they are. Government has Friendship Estate and they have where CRM is. They could have used that place. Why are they harassing these people? It is disgusting. I don't want to take up too much more of your time, darling, but I had to make my comment.
Thank you so much, and your comments are appreciated, sir. Yes, he spoke a mouthful, and he's correct. If there's better plans that were put forward, why are those plans no longer viable? It is time to have that conversation with the people. It is overdue. I am asking for accountability on behalf of all Tobagonians and all Trinbagonians who have vested interest in this issue. Because we have a right to know. I heard about those plans a long time ago. I think it was option 8 or option 5 out of the number of options that they had. And that option gave us the opportunity to upgrade our existing plant. Maybe take that footprint where the car park is, where Rituals is, that entire area, and maybe that end, that corner. And upgrade our existing plant. And give us an airport that would not have cost anywhere close to what we are paying for it now. Because again, these contracts have already been signed. We have not seen the cost-benefit analysis, and it seems like that we just have projects popping up in Tobago or popping up across the nation, and there is no accountability to the people as to how these projects came about. Imagine we have a prime minister who placed priority on building a port in Toko, but no upgrades to the port in Scarborough. Let's take this call. Good morning.
Morning, my sister.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. You know, I'm listening to you and I'm wondering why we as Tobagonians are accepting what we are. Imagine we have a hospital, the only hospital on the island, and 90% of the time they don't have drugs, they don't have particular medicine to deal with people's ailments and so on. I have a brother who was in the hospital, and he had a heart problem. And just to get, the thing done, he had to go outside to do things like cholesterol and all these kind of things. Not even the hospital can do that. And we have over 60,000 people here. Every time somebody gets ill, we have to maybe call for the air ambulance to take them to Trinidad. And people can just die for the simplest reason. And we are comfortable and happy with situations like that. You know, in the most recent past, at least 2 hospitals were built in Trinidad. This year, talking about it. One in Point Fontaine, and the other one was in Arena. Not even critical care can be done in Tobago. And we are comfortable and happy. Imagine it. So thank you for hearing my views. Have a pleasant day.
Thank you very much, caller. And I don't even want to start on the hospital issue or the healthcare issue this morning. I wanted to actually have that conversation with Dr. Faith in the studio, because we can spend all day talking about the substandard care that we receive. We can spend all day talking about the fact that that hospital was opened in 2011, which was just 9 years ago. And they owe suppliers millions of dollars. Mismanagement. The change in CEOs every Monday morning, basically. The board is always involved in some kind of bacchanal. And our frontline professionals have been the one to bear the brunt of this mismanagement. They have been crying out for years. And their cries have been falling on deaf ears. If it's not for a lack of equipment or a lack of resources, it's issues with their employment, their contracts, their gratuity. Why should somebody who has dedicated their life to saving the lives of others worry about their own financial stability? Shouldn't our healthcare workers be permanent employees? Shouldn't they have the benefit of security of tenure? Why do we have these issues in such a small space as Tobago? Why are we victimizing our frontline workers? Because that is what is taking place behind closed doors. They have little or no voice. We are victimizing the people who are responsible for saving our lives. Because as the old people say, why am I here pass here now? There are a number of persons that I know personally, my friends and people who I just know because I've had experiences with them, who are dedicated to their craft. Nurses who will go above and beyond the call of duty. But how is it, can you expect 100% of effort from these nurses when you don't take care of them? How could you expect 100% of effort from these doctors if it is you don't take care of them? That some of them have been working such strenuous hours, can't take vacation. That these nurses sometimes have to accompany patients to Trinidad. No stipend for traveling. They have to find their way back home however they could, get transportation to go to whatever hospital the person has been transferred to, go on standby in the airport. Is not what I say. These are real stories. This is what they really go through. And that there are some nurses, they have families, they cannot do these things without proper systems in place, and they vex with them. Some have refused to do these duties because it is unfair that they have no confirmed transportation between the islands. That when they are finished doing their duties and they have to get back home, that they have to go on standby. This is the best that we can do for our people, Tobago. But we want to spend $1.2 billion on an airport. And as of yet, we have not fixed our home. As of yet, we haven't brought our people up to an acceptable standard of living across the island. As of yet, we have communities, small communities, that are inaccessible by car, that don't have running water, that don't have indoor plumbing. That our sidewalks are in a mess. Our elderly persons cannot walk properly on our sidewalks. People who have wheelchairs can't traverse our capital safely. We need to fix home first. And that is why we have advanced the idea that Tobago requires a lot more capital investment in its development at this time. And if we put in that investment today, and we can do it over the next 5 years, that we would hope the Progressive Democratic Patriots, both in Parliament and in the THA, can transform this island. That we can do in 5 years what they failed to do in 20, and what other governments have failed to do long before that. That people must be clamoring to come and live right here. That our standard of living on this island should be so high that people should be begging to come and live in Tobago. I'll throw something into the mix. The cost of living is higher in Tobago than in Trinidad. That is a fact. which means that the money that you make here does not stretch as far as the money, that same money would stretch in Trinidad. That is a disparity that needs to be addressed. Because in the 1970s, we had price control legislation. I don't know where it gone. I need to do some research, and I need to expound on this topic a little bit more. But I'm just throwing it into the mix for you guys to start to think that somebody is not going to take up a job in Tobago. Because if that job is paying $10,000 or $15,000 a month, that it's better to take a job paying $10,000 or $15,000 a month in Trinidad than to take a job paying $10,000 or $15,000 in Tobago, because of the cost of living disparity between the two islands. Side by side we stand. That's what they say. But if that is the case, then why are the cost of goods higher on this island? Yes, we are separated by water, but it's one nation. We only one nation conveniently, you know. If I buy something in Trinidad for $20, that same item should cost me $20 in Tobago. That is what government is there for. That if some inequality exists in this country that renders a section of our population disenfranchised, that it is a government's responsibility to correct that. The people of Tobago have been disenfranchised for far too long. Why you think so much of us go down to Trinidad to shop? Because the prices are cheaper down there. But isn't this one country? Shouldn't it be that if it is that I pay $100 for curtains on Charlotte Street in Trinidad, that very same pack of curtains should cost me $100 in Tobago or thereabouts? People of Tobago have to demand equality. We have been singing it in schools for years. Side by side, we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea. Should that equality only exist on paper? We're talking transformation. That is a simple transformation, addressing that disparity in the cost of goods and services. Your dollar in Trinidad stretches further than your dollar in Tobago. So one of two things has to happen. It's either one, we institute the price controls and we enforce them and we ensure that businesses adhere to them so that we create that equality that we speak of. Or two, we find a way to raise the salaries of everybody who lives in Tobago. Because minimum wage nationally is $17.50. And based on the cost of living in Tobago, minimum wage cannot be $17.50. Those are the conversations that we need to start having. Because we're talking about taking care of our people. We are talking about protecting our people. And Tobagonians are not being protected in this space. Transportation. The cost of transportation. It is what? $8 from Scarborough to Crown Point, a 15-minute drive? Port of Spain to Arima, which in any given day is at least 45 minutes, and in traffic an hour and a half, is about what, $9? You're spending more gas to drive from Port of Spain to Arima. Scarborough to Crown Point is about 15 minutes. Straight road. No hills and valleys. $8. $3 off route, so you're paying $11 to go in a side street. $12 to Pigeon Point entrance, straight road again. The roads are not perfect, but they're straight. We're talking about those inequalities. Tobago, you have to start to understand where true transformation has to start to take place. The smallest things. We have gotten so used to being behind that they can't tell us what side by side looks and feels like. But we have to start to demand it. If we want to attract investment, we want to attract people to our island, we have to demonstrate that we can live good here first. And that is the kind of transformation I am interested in. Show me your grand plans and vision for Tobago. Show me where you want to take this island. How you want to transform our economies. How you want to transform our education system. How you want to transfer the medical industry and our healthcare. Holistic tourism. How you want to transform our tourism product. Show me the plans. You say you want to represent me. You say that you want to be in charge now or whenever, however long. Show me your vision. I have explained my vision. When people from that other vehicle come to you, have them explain theirs. We'll take another call at this time. Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Tash. How are you this morning?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm fine. I heard you talk about the GT shopping in Scarborough and so on, right? When tourist boat comes into Scarborough, they have tour guys in Scarborough walking them around. What they walking them around and show them? What they are showing the people for the money they spend to come here. You understand where I'm coming from? They come to see Tobago, right? And they have nothing in Scarborough for them to see. Right, but yet they're paying for a tour guide to tour them around Scarborough. You know what I see in Scarborough? I heard you talk about the waterfront. From ever since I've been telling people, the officials and the authorities will not come down on the ground and listen to the groundmen and take ideas from the groundmen and develop the island. That big sea from the Esplanade straight back to the Coast Guard base. I see a boardwalk over the sea with boots, with people, with natural market from Tobago, not stuff imported, things with people making. These small businesses get opportunity to show people from all over the world what we can do. You understand? People could come and go down that boardwalk, get sweets, get crafts, get this. Even take a simple thing what we have here called snow cone. You understand? These kind of things, listen music. Look on a boardwalk over the sea in Scarborough. Can have a museum, a Scarborough museum. You understand? All these different things. Show different things of our heroes, all our excellencies, all these different stuff. All the stuff we achieve. Advertise our history. You understand? Having them going up in Scarborough and showing them what a shop at a man selling food here or a roti man, they will see the cars inside of Scarborough. Come on. They are not showing the people things when they come here to see. They will come here to see that. Then come here to know, learn Tobago and know what Tobago can give. You understand how far Tobago comes from. What is really Tobago? They're not selling Tobago. I really don't know what they're selling. You understand? Look at simple things. What's Trinidad? When tourists come to Trinidad, they have places to go. They have the museum to go. They have the Queen's Park to go. They have the Woodford Square to go. You understand? They have a zoo to go. Tobago don't even have a proper zoo. Tobago don't even have a giraffe. They have a giraffe in Trinidad. We don't even have an alligator here. We don't even have monkeys here now. We don't even have different type of birds ready to show the people besides going on the island of the space side. You understand? If them don't go down the island in space side, they don't see nothing. We have different type of species of animals in Trinidad because we don't have a zoo in Tobago to show the tourists and show people where they can see come here and see stuff and take pictures and enjoy themselves and say, well, yes, I went to Tobago and I see this and I see that and carry it back, show family and friends and encourage people to come here. How do they expect tourism to build in Tobago if the people come here and they not see nothing? When they go back, me and going back to Tobago now, I better go back. Those are green here. I come here and see nothing. I spend so much money to go in. What just bring them to show them here? So all this money, I don't know what they're going on with them here. That's mashing up Tobago tourism. They ain't doing nothing for Tobago. They put a sign I love Tobago. For me, my opinion is nothing wrong with this sign. but it's the placement of the sign. That sign could have been floating over the water on the boardwalk. Simple little things like that will attract people. All these different kind of stuff. You understand? Nothing to really develop Tobago and advertise Tobago tourism and show people how they right. This is Tobago. You understand? Look in Trinidad. They built a water park in Shagaramas. Where's Tobago Water Park? All these different things. Where's Tobago own? It's not Trinidad. It's Trinidad and Tobago. Gosh, I could go on and on and on and on. But I know you only have a few more minutes. But thank you very much for your time. I had what to come and speak my mind this morning. This is Transformation Tuesday. Something needs to be done.
Thank you so much, caller. Thank you for your comments. And you said a whole lot in the time that you had. And it's the truth. We would live and die with the potential that we have on this island, and that is the reality. Unless we have visionary leaders who are willing to make the decisions that are necessary for us to jumpstart our development. I saw one of the persons on my live make a comment about the fact that politicians are not willing to sacrifice votes, to bring certain things to pass in terms of the price controls or increasing salaries or things like that. The thing about it is that there comes a time in the life of any nation, any country, anybody that wants to advance their own development where tough decisions have to be made. And that they have to make up their mind that that price has to be paid for the benefit of us all. Right? We need persons in charge who are willing to make the tough decisions that need to be made so that we all can be developed and benefit down the road. That is the reality. Because if we continue going down the road that we are going down, nothing will happen. We'll spend money and there'll be no accountability and no value for the money that is being spent. Good morning, caller. Oh my God, the caller just left. Yeah. There will be no accountability for the money that is being spent. $45 billion thereabouts has been spent in Tobago between 2001, or 2000 I should say, and 2020. Let me see if I can take this caller. Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Calling from New York.
Great, nice to have you.
How are you doing?
I am all right, just a little sleepy, but okay.
I understand. Don't worry. The caller before, she said the perfect stuff. Because you know what? Grenada is more advanced than us. Barbados is more advanced than us. Don't even talk about Jamaica. There's a Rasta that goes into the sea in Jamaica and just come up, welcome to Jamaica. Jamaica full of tourists. What are we doing in Tobago to promote tourism? We got to do better than that. And I know from here, from after the 10, we're going to see a different Tobago. Thank you.
Thank you for your call. Thank you. I mean, it is my hope that people want better. You know, they talk about making the right choice, but there's a better choice. There's a better choice available to you. Because on this side, in this vehicle, in this car that I'm driving, right? You have people who are committed to the vision of a new Tobago. You have people who are committed to a vision of a first world Tobago, of a true paradise in the Caribbean Sea. That not just looks good, but it's a place that is beautiful to live in, that our children are safe, they can grow up, they have access to opportunities, that our people are safe and they can grow and have access to opportunity, that they can become their best selves. I want to see that Tobago in my lifetime. And A.N.R. Robinson was a man with a vision, and he went in with an overwhelming mandate, 33-3. And his government only lasted one term. In fact, within a year of his government being formed, they started having issues. But he made some hard decisions. He made some hard decisions because he saw down the road. He saw himself making that sacrifice because it was a sacrifice. It was a political sacrifice. They actually almost killed him for the decisions that he made on our behalf. And for today, if he did not make those decisions back then, I'm not certain where our country would be. He was not afraid to do the hard things. He was not afraid to put his political career on the line and be a one-term prime minister. And sometimes you just need leaders who are willing to do the hard things, because there are hard decisions to make in this time. This is not time for games. This is not time for play. You have young people who want to work to build this island. You have older persons who have all their skills and expertise and experience, who want to know that they can pass on that knowledge. There are people who are committed to a new Tobago. I'm saying that this is the time. And it starts with us making the better choice. That's where it starts. They say they are the right choice, but right choice for whom? The 3 F's. Friends, family, and finances. Don't act like you don't know. That is the right choice for only a certain section of the population. That is in the public domain. Friends, family, finances. Once you're not in any of those 3 categories, that is not the choice for you. But we are presenting ourselves as the better choice. The Progressive Democratic Patriots is the better choice for Tobago at this time. Because we are not about friends, family, and finances. We are about the people. We are about all people. We are about ensuring that the majority of the people benefit from the resources that are available in this country, on this island, for them to benefit from. We are the better choice. The finances could take a little rest. The friends and family, they probably have more than enough to see them through 1 or 2 generations. Let the rest of us be able to benefit. We are about the people. That is what we talk about every day. Everybody who has spoken on behalf of this party talks about a Tobago, an improved Tobago, a cutting-edge Tobago, an innovative Tobago, a first-world Tobago. Are they speaking that language? Those people in that car on the other side, in that vehicle on the other side, are they speaking that language? Examine the people in your car and ask yourself if the car going where you want to end up. Yeah? We're talking transformations. And I want to, at some point later on, because I'm not certain if I would be here for the entire duration until the election, there are some mornings that I would not be with you because the election would heat up. Especially in that last week of the election, it will get very, very difficult. But I'm saying to you that I do enjoy our interactions, and I look forward. This is actually one of the best parts of my day, coming and speaking with you and interacting with you and showing you my heart. We need transformation in Tobago. Tobago has the opportunity to lead the way. Tobago has the opportunity to be an example to the rest of the country of how an empowered, progressive people can look. How paradise can look. That we have created so much opportunities, and we've dealt with persons at the level of their social issues. That we have little or no crime. I want to see a day that Tobago no longer has a crime issue. That is what I want to see. I want to see a day, because growing up and being in high school, Tobago dominated or dominates, because we still continue to dominate, primary and secondary schools track and field. We either always win the overall title or we come second. And I think most recently they disaggregated it into schools. So I think Bishops came second this year. But when we were zonal, Tobago was always on top. And that says a lot to the quality of the talent that we have in our young people. How many of those young people are able to harness their skills and talents and become world-class athletes on the international stage? How many of them? How many of them fall through the cracks immediately after high school? How many of them, because for one reason or another, whether it be their parents could not afford certain things or, their grades weren't up to scratch, they just fall through the cracks and their talents go to waste. How many of our athletes in Tobago never got the opportunity to become great? Sprinters, footballers, hockey players, cricketers, tennis players, you name it. How many of them, for one reason or another, fell through the cracks and their talents have gone to waste? We need to take care of our own, and it starts with making some hard decisions. We need to decide where we want to go. We need to decide the vision that we have for our island, the things that we want to see, the people that we want to become. That is the transformation. Transformation takes place within and outside, internal and external to us. That is what we need to start to talk about, and not just talk. We need to walk that talk. Because for far too long, we have had people in positions who all they are good for is to talk. They talk a slick game. They have all the posturings of seasoned politicians. They sound nice on the platform. They have the best speech writers. But when it's time to walk that talk, crickets, nothing. You could hear a pin drop. Tobago, do you want to continue to elect talkers? Or do you want to elect doers? Do you want to elect people who will do, who will work for you, who will take night and make day to ensure that the thing gets done and it gets done to quality of standard? The choice is yours. August 10th, 2020, the choice is yours. Do you want to elect a group of Tobagonians, a group of people who want to transform Tobago? Or do you want to elect a bunch of talkers and other things that start with T? The choice is yours. Because I am ready. I am prepared. I am waiting. I want your support. We want your support because we want to work for you. We want to work hard and smart. And after the work is done, it's time for play. We have every intention of walking our talk. Because all now so we outside, we can talk. We've been trying to demonstrate that we can do. So that is why we have our No Leaking Roof initiative to show you what we can do. And that is just one aspect. That's just one thing, one singular thing out of all the things that we can do. But we want your permission to do more. We want your permission to transform this space. We want your permission to transform this place and these people, our people, we. August 10th, you have a choice. Are you going to choose the right choice or the better choice? That is the question you need to ask yourself. If you are still on the fence, if you are still undecided about whether or not you're going to exercise your franchise on that day, if you're still undecided about the intentions of persons on one side versus the other side, judge us by our deeds. Judge us by the people who have aligned ourselves with this vehicle that I am driving in. Judge us with that. Judge us by our ability to use the little we have to bring relief to those who need it the most. Judge us based on that. And judge those who have had access to all our resources, all our systems, all of our people and our procedures, all of the things that give them the advantage of being in government, and watch what they have done with that advantage. Watch if they have helped people or empowered people. Look at the environment that they have cultivated in our workplaces and spaces. Look around Tobago, drive around, look at the place, check the roads, watch the overhead lines, put on the tap, see what color water coming out the pipe. Look at the conditions of your schools. Look at the condition of the hospital. Ask yourself if they have supplies up there. Ask yourself if the AC fixing the maternity ward. Look at how we deal with our waste. Look at the Studley Park dump. Look at Scarborough. Look at our business community. Look at the port. Look at our attractions. And ask yourself, have these people done the best job that they could do? They have had 20 years at the level of the THA. They have had 50-something years nationally. Have they done the best job that they could do? Tobago, you need to be selfish. You need to be selfish. Selfish for yourself, selfish for your children, selfish for your generations coming after you. You need to ask yourself, should I make the right choice or should I make the better choice? Because the beautiful thing about democracy, regardless of what they say, every 4 years at the level of the THA and every 5 years at the level of government, you can reject people's employment applications. You can rescind their employment on your behalf. You have that choice. Don't let anybody tell you who to choose. They don't stand in our shoes. They don't even live here. Their bread butter on 10 sides. Do they understand what the single mother is going through? Do they understand what the frustrated young man is going through? Do they understand what the elderly person is going through who has to go to Trinidad for treatment, who cannot access drugs on the island to treat with whatever ailment they have? Do they understand what the young professional is going through, having to traverse the island on a weekly basis to access educational opportunities? Do they understand what the businessman is going through, trying to get goods up to be able to have his business up and running? Do they understand what the students are going through when their schools are not up to standard? Do they truly understand you? How can they represent you if they are not of you? If they have no clue what you go through, that they don't stand with you when you are in pain, that they don't comfort you when you cry, that they don't listen to you when you speak, and they talk down to you, they dictate to you, all you're not suffering. Remember those words, they say all you're not suffering. That's what they say. Na me say, them say. All you're not suffering. They are so disconnected from you. They don't have a clue what you're going through. So if they don't have a clue what you're going through, how can they solve your problems? How could they present themselves as the right choice when they don't have a clue what your pains are, what your ailments are, what your issues are, what your concerns are? And even if they hear it, it's going through one ears and comes straight out the next. It's not even registering somewhere between the ears. They don't understand you. I want to protect my Tobago people. I want to empower my Tobago people. I want to develop my beautiful island. And that development must be planned, not piecemeal. Somebody mustn't just roll out of their bed and say, hey, let me drop a shopping center in the middle of town. Participatory governance, all-inclusive governance. That the people must have a say. That my role is to represent and not represent myself, and not talk for me, and not give my opinion. From the time I become your representative, I represent you. I enunciate your thoughts. I explain your dreams. I talk about your vision. I talk about your goals. I talk about your issues, your concerns. I am your mouthpiece. I am your champion storyteller. And when the time for talk is done, because talk has its place, talk has its forums, talk has its environment. When the talk is done, I become your champion fighter. Because there will be battles to fight. This will not be easy because there are people that do not want you to develop. Let us call a spade a spade. There are people on the other side who are content for you to stay exactly where you are, begging and subservient. And there are people who are right here, are content for the same. Because they fall into the category of FFF, friends, family, and finances. And you are threatening their way of life. Me, I am a threat to their way of life because I have presented myself as the better option. And the day that people choose the better option, the day that people choose differently, some of them will cry. Because they know that their feeding time is over. Because we for the people, and the people must eat. It's time for the people to eat. For far too long, our people have been passing the restaurants and the stores and they're barely growling. And they can't even peep inside because when they peep inside, the gas pain will increase even more. It's time to invite our people to the table. It's time that we sit our people at that table. And we spread down the napkin and put down the plates and put down the water glass and the cutlery. And it's time that we feed our people because they deserve that. People deserve performance. If you have politicians coming to you and they cannot show you development and empowerment, are they talking to you? Are they even having a conversation with you? If they have no plan to transform our space and take us from where we are at today and take us to paradise in 5 years or 10 years, however long it would take, but they just could show you, yes, we're taking one step at a time, one day at a time. This is the process. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to have people involved. This is how you are going to be responsible for charting your own progress. If you can't show me that, you are a politician. You're playing tricks, and tricks are for kids. We need representatives. We need true representatives. We need movers. We need shakers. Because this is a disruption that they did not plan for. You are a disruption that they did not plan for because they think the people are sheep. They think the people are going to be swayed by big trucks. They think that they could buy you with a hamper and a jersey. They think that they can threaten you in your workplaces for 10 days. They think that they can continue to victimize you. They think that they can silence your voices because you have been witness to their corrupt activities. They think that they can keep their knee on your neck. And even though you have been crying out to breathe, they will not give you an ease. That is what they think. So that they could walk into your yard and not even say good afternoon and say, you're voting? As if you and them lived there your whole life. They have so much contempt for you and your vote because they already think they have it in the bag. That they can come out and tell you make the right choice. Tobago, you have a better choice. That is not the only choice. You have a better choice that you can make on the 10th of August 2020. Do not take it for granted because they will fight tooth and nail. We're talking about $3 billion at the level of THA. We're talking about $50 billion at the level of government. People have been killed for far less than that. But we have to show that the voice of the people is the voice of God. We have to show them that the will of the people is bigger and larger and stronger than the will of the FFF. All that we could eat, all that we could live good. I will say it every single day because I believe it. It is part of me. Because I look at my children, I don't want to live forever. I want to ensure that whenever I go, whenever my journey in this plane is complete, that they are happy to be living in Tobago, that anywhere they go in the world, they can be proud to say, I am from Tobago. Tobago is an awesome place to live. It is a fantastic island. We have some of the most friendly people. We have all these festivals. We have developed spaces. We have our natural resources. We have our main ridge, the oldest protective forest reserve in the Western Hemisphere. That we have facilities for our tourists. That we have some of the best customer service. That we have cutting-edge medical care. So if you come to the island, anything happens to you, you can get medical care right on the island. That we have some of the best accommodations for our tourists. That we have some of the best roads in the Caribbean and in the world. That we have public services that actually work for the people. That are timely and efficient. And free of corruption. That we have people who are passionate about what they do and passionate and patriotic about their island. That we have politicians or representatives rather, not politicians, that we have representatives in charge who have the people's best interests at heart. That we exercise true democracy in our space. I want my children to be able to boast about that first world Tobago. And the only pride that I choose to take from that is knowing that with your support and with your collaboration, that we can make it happen. That I can live long enough to see the day that we can create our version of paradise in this piece of paradise that we call home. This was Transformation Tuesdays, everyone. My name is Tasha Grace Boris. I've come to the end of my set. I'm not sure if Mr. Duke would be here. I haven't seen him showing up as yet. But thank you guys for joining me on my live, joining me on YouTube, joining me on your radios, in your homes, in your offices, in your cars. Today is Thursday, the 16th of July, essentially 3 weeks until elections 2020. Guys, I will be with you as long as I can be, as long as my voice holds up. Let me just take this one last call before I go off air. Hello, good morning. Caller, are you hearing me?
All right?
Yes, caller, I'm hearing you.
Okay, call me back, please, on this number that is coming on your system. Call me back, please. I must speak to you.
Though,
okay? All right? The number you gave me yesterday didn't work. Your inbox is full.
Okay, sir. All right. I will call you back as soon as I come off here.
Thank you.
Yes. So someone needs to talk to me. In any case, we've come to the end of Transformation Thursdays. I'm Tasha Grace Boris. I would say my name over and over again. You need to think about me in your waking moments and think about me in your sleeping moments. But the most important thing to think about me is to know what I give and know what I intend to give for the people of Tobago and the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I was just told that Dr. Faith would be standing in for Mr. Duke today. So she's going to come. She brings her own brand of fire. She's going to show you the other drivers in this vehicle and the other persons who are sitting in this vehicle and determining where we go and present ourselves as the better choice, the Progressive Democratic Patriots, as the better choice for Tobago at this time. I thank you guys for tuning in. I thank you guys for watching. Do have a blessed day. Do be safe. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7. Tomorrow is Fight the Power Fridays. It's like every day is a day to fight the power, isn't it? But tomorrow we're going to be specific with respect to what power we're fighting. I want to continue that conversation about our price disparity between Tobago and Trinidad. I want to be able to show you guys how the system has been set up to keep Tobagonians oppressed, to keep us in a situation where we are dependent. Because our dollar is worth nothing over here versus in Trinidad. We can no longer have those disparities. We can no longer have a situation where we are forced to be behind. We need to take our place. Side by side we stand. Tomorrow is Fight the Power Fridays. I will be with you again tomorrow morning at 7. Thank you for listening. Thank you for calling. Thank you for all your messages. I will see you again tomorrow. Have a great day.
I have love for the whole wide world. With you at the center, you are the master key. If love is by my side, then who can deny me? I keep climbing higher, higher. We going down the road, hands in the air. People everywhere, love and unity is there. It's that time of year where we don't care. It don't matter where you're from, put your flag in the air. And represent. Just one love, just one love, just one love, just one love. And represent. Just one love, just one love, just one love, just one love. My people, do you listen? Tell me, do you hear? What is your position for the people? Do you care? Yeah. Will you tell me that you represent? I really want to see some evidence. In freedom, this is evidence. So bring it from your soul. One love is the one love is the Cause this is carnival, where we come alive. Oh no, we not gonna fight. We gonna dance all night. So just wave your flag, make it touch the sky. We not gonna stop tonight. So
like this, we must relate in your heart and soul. One love is the anthem. One love is the anthem.
Cause this is carnival, where we come alive. Oh no, we not gonna fight, we gonna dance all night. So just wave your flag, make it touch the sky. We not gonna stop tonight, so let me see your hands.
Why my people suffer so bad? Oh, is it that should really be sad? Is it a misplaced melancholy? Well, it's politics time again. Are you gonna vote now? My people may talk. It's politics time again. Are you gonna vote now? My God. Rise up, fallen suffers. Rise and take your stance again. He who fights and run away will live to fight another day. It's politics time again. Are you gonna vote now? You people may talk. It's politics time again now. Are you gonna vote now? It's open the war. It's the right and it's the duty of a citizen to vote. By upon them constitution, long time it did a joke. Fed up of promises and hopeless hope. Ballot box must be empty, vote house closed. No one arm, no one choose the color of them clothes now. But some just plain greedy. No matter how we teach, they'll forget easier. Look, it's politics time again. Are you gonna vote now? This is love and not war. We all shall vote, yeah. If it's Rasta, then talking. Look here, bloodshed from Rima. Down in the valley, can't me hear ya. Question has become a gunman compound. No place for people with citizenship, Lord. They're crying relentlessly, yeah. People moving every minute, every hour. Gunshot falling like hell shower. It's politics time again. Well, are you gonna vote now? Good people may talk. It's politics time again. Are you gonna vote now? And a little one, we want. And a little bridge, we preach. Still they bust up their big guns on the street. Lord, killing people. Oh, they really speak. Who is it that I'm is speaking? Who is it that is controlling the system? Three parties and I'm not dancing. Who is it? Who is she? No, who is the Mr. Him? Yeah, it's your campaign time again now. Yeah. Well, it's politics time again. The people are gonna cry now. It's politics time again. Are you gonna vote now? Hey, everything raise, but we won't live on fret. When the air that we breathe becomes thick with them, then we know Jaja guide, we will never fret. Whenever you're ready, we're ready. No more spot check. Whether you're light or you're heavy, happy or respect. Lord, no war. No war. Yeah. Well, it's politics time again. Are you gonna vote now? Who is worthy? Who is worthy? It's politics time again. Are you gonna vote now? Poor people cry. It's the right of senior citizens to vote. By upon them constitution, long time it did a joke. We are fed up with promises and hopeless hope. Ballot box must be empty, vote house closed. No one harm, no one choose the color of them clothes, y'all. Some just plain greedy. No matter how we teach, they'll forget easier. It's politics time again. Are you gonna vote now?
91.9 FM